Welcome back to the Backroom Season 3, and this is Episode 2. And moving on in 2022, we're going to introduce or bring new hosts. And we're going to bring in a host that we all know, the host with the mostest, Aaron Flett's back. Hello, Aaron.
Aaron Flett. That's okay, I'm not going to do it.
Okay, I can sense it. Aaron Flett. He's like a flat.
Yeah,
How are you? You look so good. You always look good, don't you? You always have a... It's like you have to reinvent yourself. You're the Madonna of the Backroom. I like the way that your hair goes up into a sort of, I get jealous when I can't, play around like you have. It's sort of got like a bit of an iron look on one side. It looks cool.
It's not iron, trust me.
I know.
I'm growing it out. I'm actually growing out. I had a friend of mine that I did a photo shoot with him a year ago with Paul Freeman. He had like long hair, and I used to have long hair down to here a long time ago. And he kind of inspired me to kind of grow it a bit again. So it's kind of long. You can't really tell with like this.
Does it make you excited to know that your hair is there? Like, you know how there are the guys at our age, there are the guys that like have none, and then there's you. Like, so does it make you excited to know that your hair's still, like, your hair looks good? It looks pretty thick and pretty happy.
I have a secret for you, and I'm quite happy to share it with everybody because I don't know if you know, but
is it a wig?
But I actually have a lot of thin hair, and basically this part of my hair is actually quite thin, but with a lot of thin hair. So in some light, you can see my scalp. However, a friend of mine who's just started up doing this tattooing for scalps.
Tattoos? Yeah. So it's not a spray, it's actually a tattoo.
No, not a spray. No, you tattoo. It's a proper tattooing gun because it's not like a normal tat. Well, it's the premise of the game is where they use fine needles to go into the scalp, and it creates a darker area, which then looks like it's fuller. So
did it hurt?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's really soft, isn't it? Soft skin there.
Yeah, but then again, everybody's scalp is different.
Yeah. Well, it looks good. And if you didn't tell me that, I would not have known that was a thing.
Exactly. But I mean, people don't know. And what's good about it is that people will just look at you and they wouldn't even know, which is what you want. You want people going, there's something going on up there. What's going on? You know what I mean? So
and it's better than, I really hate those things that don't look real. You know, those toupees, whatever you call them, and you can just tell, and you just go, why? You can, people can tell. But I guess nowadays everyone's doing stuff that does, lips and bums and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, tell us about you. What have you been up to the last few months?
Oh, you know what I've been doing.
What?
Well, look, I'll just start off with, on the 19th of December, I was walking down a grassy knoll, and it was a very smooth grassy knoll. It was 10:30 at night, but
grassy knoll.
Down, and my foot hit a...
Yes.
Stop it. I was walking down this hill at 10:30 and I couldn't see anything. It was really smooth, but there was 5% of this grassy knoll that was like this old walking track. I happened to walk down just past that, and I clipped my ankle, and I went snap on my ankle, and then I went down like a bag of shit.
So it actually did that noise?
It was a crack.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a crack. And that crack was one of my tendons that I snapped in my ankle. And then I tore another one, which I found out through an MRI. So, yeah, I just drove home that night. It was incredibly painful, but, using an accelerator and a brake to get home was like...
Yeah, you should have called the ambulance. You would have got one of those. You would have got one of those green things to suck on. They're really nice. They are. No, in regards to your pain, the green things that
I know it. They're called the whistle. I know what they are.
Yeah, you suck on it, and it just gives you a rush of something, and you don't feel the pain. Because I've never done that. So how do you heal that? Do they plaster it or do they sleeve it?
Oh, well, just quickly, my story is basically went home that night. I had a couple of Valiums here, And I thought, oh, I'll just have a couple of those, sleep on it. So I slept on it for a couple of hours, woke up, and I had a friend of mine staying here, and because he was staying for the weekend because he had to do some things. He's from out of town. And he heard me in like the middle of the night, me for dragging myself through the through the hallway. And I get to, he comes out and he opens the door and he goes, "Are you okay?" I went, "No. No, not good."
So you didn't go to the hospital or anything?
No. I didn't go to the hospital. I thought, oh, I'll be fine. I'll wake up in the morning, everything's gonna be fine. And
yeah, right.
I wake up in the morning and I could not walk on my foot.
Yes.
Couldn't walk on it. I dragged myself to the coffee machine and see the coffee tape, that table there to get to the couch. There was 3 splash marks of coffee on that table before I got to the corner of it. And my foot was swollen, and I rang my local GP, and this was just before Christmas, the week before Christmas. So COVID, was going on, and people wanted COVID tests before they went away, and so they were booked out. And I just said to the lady, the receptionist, she said, "Look, the best thing to do is just go to Sunshine Emergency Department," which I did. And
I'm surprised you didn't do that as the first thing.
Look,
I know, I get it. Like, I remember I fell somewhere once. I won't say where, but I fell and I was a bit drunkly, and I didn't realize until the next morning that I broke my ribs. And so I did the same thing as you. I went home because I was drunk. I didn't feel anything. I went to bed. I woke up. The next day I had a car rally, and I had to I was in charge of it, and the pain. It hurts when you break something, doesn't it? You don't realize. For the rib, as soon as you breathed, it would just be pain because your lungs are expanding that part. And yeah, so how long did it take for you to heal it? What? Don't go there. How long?
I'm still healing. It's been about 9 weeks now, coming up to 10 weeks. Usual situation like that can anywhere between 8 and 12 weeks, all depends.
Wow. And so you didn't answer the question. Do they wrap it or just leave it?
Oh, they left it. They were like, "Oh, look, you That's what they do. Yeah. That's what they do. It was a questionable X-ray. They don't know if they were actually fractured or not. Just here's an endo and go home." And so I just pretty much did that. There was no moon boot, no dizzy sticks, as we call them. Little crutches.
So does that mean were you supposed to sit at home, or were you able to go and do stuff still?
I was supposed to stay still.
Yeah. And you didn't. That's all right.
I went out on Christmas Day because I was visiting different people because I don't have family here in Melbourne. So I was just visiting a couple of people. Then I started to do a bit of a walk. And I walked on it for a couple of hours, dumb. And then again the next day, it felt like that I had did something to it. And then it felt like there was a rusty, blunt knife going through my ankle. Dumb.
This is why we love you, Aaron.
Dumb. Just dumb.
Aaron's back and we're going to get all the goss. We'll be back after this break. Coming up next is a segment on male sexual dysfunction. It's just a short segment, but we're going to actually look at different ways to actually heal the body with the mind rather than letting yourself go down the wrong path.
Male sexual dysfunction, Part 1. Normal sexual function is a complex interaction involving both the mind and the body. Desire, also called sex drive or libido, is the wish to engage in sexual activity. Excitement, or sexual arousal, follows. During excitement, the brain sends nerve signals down the spinal cord to the penis. In the plateau stage, excitement and muscle tension are intensified. Orgasm is the peak or climax of sexual excitement. Ejaculation results when nerves stimulate muscle contractions in the male reproductive organs. The seminal vesicles, prostate gland, and the ducts of the epididymis and vas efferens. In the resolution stage, the body returns to an unaroused state. In men, sexual dysfunction refers to difficulties engaging in sexual intercourse. Sexual dysfunction encompasses a variety of disorders that affect Sexual dysfunction may result from either physical or psychological factors. Many sexual problems result from a combination of physical and psychological factors. A physical problem may lead to psychological problems, such as anxiety, depression, or stress. Men sometimes pressure themselves to perform well sexually. Performance anxiety can be troublesome and further worsen a man's ability to enjoy sexual relations. Premature ejaculation is ejaculation that occurs too early, usually before, upon, or shortly after penetration. The cause is most likely to be anxiety, other psychological factors, or very sensitive penile skin. Retrograde ejaculation is a condition in which semen is ejaculated backward into the bladder rather than out through the penis. Inability to ejaculate, anejaculation, is usually caused by inability to reach orgasm, anorgasmia. When considering the causes, doctors consider psychological and interpersonal factors.
Coming up next is Grant Sheperd from the Secret Men's Enlightenment group. And Grant always performs in a way that gives us information about Tantra and about spirituality. And on this show, he's going to be talking to us about Microcosmic Orbit, which I have no idea what is, but I'm sure we're going to find out after this segment.
Hi everybody, my name is Grant and welcome to this segment of Secret Men's Enlightenment for the Back Room. So, Secret Men's Enlightenment. Well, the thing is that enlightenment ain't that secret. In fact, it's an open secret. And there are many traditions and many technologies that teach us about enlightenment. So what is enlightenment? Well, one way that we could look at it is connecting with our true nature, connecting inside ourselves, understanding that place and living from that place. So one thing I get asked a lot when I'm teaching is, how do I bring up my power? How do I bring up my awareness? How do I bring up my ability to touch that place of realization, to touch that place of enlightenment? And one powerful way to do that is to work with the Taoist practices. Now, Taoism is a Chinese philosophy. It's been around for thousands of years. And it's very practical. I love it. It's practical in the way it works. So one of the practices that I use and I love and work with a lot with my people and also with myself is the Microcosmic Orbit. Basically what this does is it allows us to get in touch with our vital energy and circulate it through our body so that we become more and more vibrant, more and more aware, more and more full of vital life force. Now, it may sound all a bit, this sounds quite cosmic, but the point is when you actually do it and start to work with it, you can start to feel the benefits of working with this particular practice, the Microcosmic Orbit. One thing I'll say to you is anything that I will teach, I have worked with myself, and often for many years. It's not like I've gone to a weekend workshop, learned a technique, and then gone, okay, I'm going to teach it. I don't believe that that actually works. It's important to actually embody the practices. It's important to actually work with the practices deeply, and in that way, experience their benefit. So, take a comfortable posture. Keep your back straight. When I say straight, I don't mean ramrod straight. Okay, bring it to a comfortable, easy posture. and gently close your eyes. Now for this, I'll keep my eyes open. But while you're doing this practice, and I'm guiding you through it, close your eyes. Now I want you to imagine a column of light, and it's golden, a golden column of light. And it starts at the base of the spine to the crown of the head. Now inhale, and the energy rises up from the base of the spine through this golden column to the top of the head, and then around over the top of the head to the middle of your eyebrows. And now exhale. The energy drops down from between your eyebrows in a thin channel in the middle of your nose, mouth, throat, heart, and stops at the area of your navel. You can put your hands over your navel if you like, so you can feel the tracking of this energy. Let's do it again. Inhale. The energy moves up from the base of the spine through the golden channel over the top of your head and to the middle of your eyebrows. And now exhale. Let the energy fall from the middle of your eyebrows down through your nose, your mouth, the middle of your throat, middle of your heart, down to your navel, and just feel the energy there. Feel what's happened to the energy there. And one more time. Inhale. Energy comes up from the base of the spine through the golden channel over the top of the head to the middle of your eyebrows. And now exhale. The energy goes down from the eyebrows through the middle of the nose, the mouth, the throat, the heart, and down to your navel. And when you're ready, take your time with this. You can gently open your eyes, or you can keep them closed if you want. So, a brief description. What we just did was take our potency, our power, what we might call our sexual energy in Tantra, and we circulated it through our whole being in the microcosmic orbit, and then stored it at the navel center, which is a place where we store and build vitality. Store and build vitality. Store and build vitality. Now this practice is cumulative, so if you do this every day for say about 3 to 5 minutes every day, in about a week or two you'll notice a few things. Increased energy, increased enthusiasm, less need for sleep, the ability to get things done faster and more efficiently, deeper meditation practice, a buoyant mood, a glow to your face. All of these benefits accrue due to this practice. So I wish you well in your practice of microcosmic orbit. I hope you thoroughly enjoy it, and the benefits it brings to you are great. Bye for now.
Right, so we're going to start talking about topics. What I've started doing, Aaron, is every Sunday I put a topic in the Facebook group and I just let people talk about whatever they want to contribute. And that way we can all, just share our thoughts without it being a debate. This needs to be like opinion. So we thought the backroom could just introduce some of those big topics that men may want to talk about. So one of the ones that we're going to talk about today is family dynamics and the drama that comes with family. So we'll start with you, I guess. When you think about your family, do you think of it as being a drama, or do you look at it as being harmonious?
Sorry, I sound like Muttley. I don't know. Like, it sounds drama.
Well, drama meaning that there was drama in your life. You know, some people, like I know some people, and I really don't know how, they say they've had no drama. They've just had this.
Are they saying or pretending?
No, I think that there are some people that probably have, I think if you have a family that enables you to talk, and there's talking, and there's sharing, there's going to be a niceness. But when there's a family that tells you, it's the telling, I think. You're doing this.
I think what you basically said in a nutshell, when you bring it right back to the bare bones, it's communication. And if you don't have that or not taught that right at the start,
drama.
You're going to have drama.
So what did you have? Did you have Waltons, like the Waltons growing up? Or did you, like the Waltons, how they all just, at the end of the episode, they solved their problems and everyone just went off. Some people have that, right? Or did you have like unnecessary crap?
Unnecessary crap, and it lasted all the way up until recently.
Yeah, like how, did you think, right, that when you were a kid or a teenager, did you think that your family was the only family that acted that way, or did you sort of have an idea or an awareness that other families did that too?
I think this is how I saw it: is that we were the only family that was messed up, and compared to everybody else. I can say this now because I'm at peace with my family and my family are at peace with me and we're all good. It's more about how things are portrayed in public and how I saw them, not on behalf of anybody else, but how I saw people, like everything was a white picket fence, everything was amazing and there was never anything wrong and you never see anything behind closed doors. And it was all it looked and appeared harmonious.
Was that you guys, or was that what you saw with other people?
That's true. And on reflection, you'd think that, wait, we're not, what? Like, that doesn't look like us.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see it from other people's perspectives growing up as kids, you sort of kind of look at it and go, when you're at somebody's house, everything looked great, or they were obviously on their best behaviour.
Yeah.
I think we all were. But then later on growing up in life, you then know more about the family and then you get to know them more. And then as the years go past, you kind of hear stories about their side of what the struggles they had. I never noticed that or never saw that because I think there's a lot of pride involved in that. And then, having a persona of what we should or how it should be. But ours was messed up.
Yeah.
Our family was messed up.
Yeah, same with that. I mean, like, it's funny. I didn't think of that. It's funny how, we go to church and that was the persona. And every time I'd go to church, I'd say, God, I'm going to get burnt. Because, like, it was totally different at home. And, but the funny thing is I met a guy at school and his mum was a single mother. And so there was no father. And, of course, he had fights with his sister, but it was actually quite... Like, I really liked it. I really liked the dynamic because it was very feminine because there was two girls and not me and my friend. It was the sister and the mother. But it was actually quite relaxed. There was no arguing, like, at all. It was really quite relaxed. And I thought, oh, my God. And then you go to my house. And my dad, the worst thing that my dad ever did, I don't know, still to this day do not know why he did it. He was really angry and grumpy with us and he faked a heart attack. And I ran to the neighbours crying, right? And an ambulance came, and it was all a fake. He did that so we could go in the house and misbehave. But I believed it, and I thought that was so cruel. And that's the twistedness of my dad,
Your father's still with us, isn't he?
Yes, he's still with us.
I think that you need to have the conversation and get back to us with that. What was that? What that was
my dad would probably turn around and say, "No, you're making it up." There was a lot of denial. But it is interesting how the what happens in closed doors. And, I don't understand why people do that. Like, why is it that everyone has to be this version of the family is everything's pure and fine, and that whole thing with over the fence. You know, when you talk, how's your son? Oh my God, he's so well, but he's really, getting caught and going to jail. So it's that weird sort of thing, and I don't know. Again, this is just my experience. I also think it was Australian versus ethnic. Like, I feel like Australians had this ideal life, but they had other issues in their family that I didn't understand. Like, for example, my parents didn't drink, right? But there was drinking in their family, but I didn't know about that. So because they didn't yell, I just thought, oh, well, they're a nice family, but they had other issues. So what was the main thing that your family, what was the main thing that you were annoyed with, you personally?
Alcohol.
Like, there was drinking, was there?
Alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah. My mum and dad were big drinkers, and then that sort of kind of trickled down into my big sister and then the middle sister. Still kind of drinks. And
what does that look like? Does that mean that you could go out and do things because they weren't aware that you were going out, or was that more that they took it out and they got more? Were they nice? Like, alcohol, did they drink nicely, or did they?
No. Mum and dad were quite physical.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's not another reason. I'm happy with happy drunks. Happy drunks, amazing. Get out there, have a good time, have a laugh and a giggle, and don't take yourself seriously. But for me, the alcohol side of it was when they would drink and then they would say stuff to each other. And obviously, when you're saying things that you wouldn't normally say because you're drinking, then obviously the playing field is not level, because when you're having those conversations, just now reflecting, is that mum and dad would always be screaming, raging against each other, or say nothing at all. What's wrong? Nothing. Is anything okay? No, there's nothing. See, that's what I mean. We're talking earlier about not having the communication. They didn't have the communication to resolve stuff. It was either say nothing or everything's fine, or have a few drinks and then not get into each other, but nothing would be resolved because the ultimate state of reality that no one was listening and no one was talking, and again, not having that level playing field of being able to discuss stuff, get drunk, smash each other. It would be blood noses and things like that, and it was quite horrific.
Well, we had probably verbal version of that, but like for you, do you mind if I ask? Like, was there any time that you had to look after them? Like when they got, did you ever had to put them to bed or anything? Like sometimes when,
you know what I mean? Had a few drinks.
When you're young and they're drinking and then they're on the couch unconscious. Did you ever have to look after them, or did they manage themselves?
They did that themselves.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, my thing with my family was it was always no. No, you can't go there. You can't go on camp. No, you can't buy that. And so by the time I turned 11, I realized I had to do something about it. So I ran away from home at 11. I'm such, I got in trouble, but I've never told this like publicly, but I ran away and I came back and it was like a major police thing. I was about to be on a milk carton, and I just went on an adventure. See, because I liked adventures, so I just go off. And I in my head, I honestly thought I'd said to them, I'm going out. I'm going. And so, but they obviously weren't listening like you with your family. And then I would be gone for 3 days, and they'd go, where is this 11-year-old boy? And I'd be in the city, staying in hotels and watching movies and I just really was independent at a very young age. And they couldn't cope with me because it's not a bad thing. In reality, it was just, they didn't know how to harness that creativity. Right. So rather, when someone wants to do something, I'm guessing as a kid, you don't just say no all the time. Right. There was no option. And so by the time I got to 11, I'm thinking, well, I've got to take this into my own hands because, I was like a child in a classroom that I wasn't meant to be in. I was in a family I wasn't meant to be with because there was nothing, zero. It was like, who am I? Like, I really didn't belong. I didn't feel like I belonged. And I think it's because I think I've shared this with you. I was brought up by my auntie who was a single woman. And so she gave me the key to the city in a way by being the first child and being, having an influence of someone that was independent. And so I loved that. And then by the time my brothers and sisters came and my cousins, that all shut down because then my auntie got married. And so I was really lucky because everyone else ended up the same. But I, for some reason, had this independence because my auntie taught me about that. and I got in so much trouble. Like I'd be at New Year's Eve parties, and I'd just vanish. And I'd vanish and people go, "Where are you?" And I'd be like, I would have gone on a train and went to the city on my own. Like I just did stupid things.
Can I ask a question? When you asked something and they said no, did you say why? And they said just no. Did they explain the reason why?
Yeah, like there was the only thing I could say. I don't know if you relate to this at all, but it was connected to the sort of to the I'm being Maltese. You just said no because I don't think that they didn't know what it was like to take risks. So everything was dangerous.
Right.
Everything, even to this day. So I don't see the world like that. And so instead of saying, "Oh, look, my son's adventurous," I was a demon child. And then add on to that, and this is another thing I haven't shared, then I came out quite early and I had a boyfriend. So a lot of times I was running away. I wasn't just being innocent. So that I was really an adult in a little boy's body because I knew a lot of stuff, and that was really hard to navigate when you knew stuff. I knew more about the city than they did. Do you know what I mean? I knew where to go, what to do at 11, 12. And they're like going, "Oh my God, my son's going to be kidnapped." I'm going, "No, I want to be kidnapped."
Kidnapped away from my family.
Well, it's interesting. Don't you think that when, as a child, you create your world to make you've got to survive, right? So that was my survival. Did you have anything like that? Like having those things happening at your home, how did you, put the noise out? How did you get away from what was going on in the lounge room?
What you just did then.
This? I
had music.
Right, okay.
There's music. And I had music, and growing up in the 70s and 80s, and there was always music in the house, and I think that was my escape.
Yeah.
And
do you still have it? Is it still there now?
Music? Oh yeah, definitely. I love my music, and I always play different stuff. I like hearing new things, and grew up with Blondie and just having the music as an escape.
Yes.
And that was and because I couldn't go anywhere, I couldn't do anything. I was on a farm.
Oh, my gosh.
I didn't have the city life or didn't get to go anywhere.
Imagine me on a farm. Oh, my gosh. Did you feel, was that a trapped feeling? Did you feel trapped? Because you couldn't go, you know what I mean? Like, did you ever feel trapped?
I'd explore on the farm. We'd go down the back in the bush and go for walks and things and explore the farm a little bit. And there wasn't really a lot I could do.
Mm.
And I guess being out in the middle of, but nowhere, it was more about just exploring that and just working with what I got, with what I had. And we had music. We always had music in the house. That was amazing. So
music it's the universal thing, isn't it? Music can actually connect you with any event or any situation. So let's just ask one more question because we're both gay. Do you feel that it was harder, or do you feel like there was a difference when it came to family dynamics did you experience any difference with what you were going through and discovering at that time?
I didn't come out till I was late.
But did you? So you didn't know? You didn't have those feelings at all?
I did, but I think they, now looking back and speaking to them now, looking back, people had questions back then, but I didn't know anything different, and I didn't know anything different. So I guess I didn't come out till I was 31. So this is when I was still back at on the farm, and I was about 10, 10, 12, and 13, and so they didn't. That was never brought up.
God, when I hear that, I think, my God, I think I was too young. When I think about my age, and then I see the version of my age in reality, I go, oh my God, that little boy was doing naughty things.
But how good was that, though? How good was that?
Well, it was confusing. But the thing is that I just didn't relate to men. That was my thing. I didn't understand, because my family is a blue collar family, and so there's lots of labouring stuff, and I just didn't. I didn't feel like I could fit in. When there was those big jobs, for example, when the concrete gets done, because we did the driveway and all the cousins come, I just couldn't. I had to stay in the kitchen with my mum and my sister, and that was hard. I didn't care, but it was hard, and I think that's probably why I escaped, because when I escaped, I could be whoever I want to be. You know, because, you know, my family were very narrow, and so they, you know, they pigeonholed you a lot. And then you've stepped out of that, like just one little thing, you're bad. You know, you're naughty for doing that. You're naughty for doing this. And so, God, I was in trouble. I wasn't like a bad kid, but I'm sure I must have caused
mischief. I think they call it. You're up to mischief.
Well, I don't think I even did mischief, really. All I did was I wanted more, and my parents didn't take us anywhere. So we didn't do anything. So I wanted more. I felt like I was trapped, and I knew there was another place across the. You know, I was Dorothy, babe. I wanted to go to Oz, right? And so I just got on that train and did it by myself. I mean, I am lucky, touch wood, that nothing bad happened. Lucky, because you know what I mean? Like, because I was roaming the streets of Melbourne.
How old were you?
11, 12.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember going to see this movie called The Water Babies. I had no idea what it was really about. It was about water babies. On that note, we'll be back after this break. Oh. Okay, coming up next is our 10-minute meditation that we offer each month. And in this meditation, the subject is fluid. How is your life fluid, and how can your body become fluid when you allow your mind to turn off? Enjoy. Hi, this is Joey Busuttil, and welcome to Meditation Space. And today we're looking at all things fluid. If you think about it, we're made up of water, we're made up of cells, we have blood flowing through our veins, we actually inhale air. So everything moves through us as if it's fluid. It's liquid-like, traveling to all parts of our body. So take a deep breath and find a comfortable position. And just spend a few moments just adjusting the body, adjusting your position, and creating a rhythm with the breath. As we know, the rhythm that we create by breathing in and breathing out escalates to connecting us to a place that we know and we actually crave, and that is a stillness. It's through the practice of doing that through the breath that we find ourselves surrendering. If you think about liquid or fluid, it's really interesting to see it in the way that it actually takes over an entire space. When we pour a glass of water, the liquid of water actually fills up the whole glass. And it's the same with any form of liquid. It doesn't leave things out. It doesn't dodge or avoid. What it does is it actually surrenders and takes up the whole space. So in this meditation today, I really want us to practice doing that. I want us to practice taking our whole body over and letting ourselves flow freely and easily to whatever dimension or place or space that we choose. And as you breathe in and out, notice the body. Notice if there's any noises surrounding you, and just become aware of those noises. And if you do become aware of those noises, just know that you don't need to attach to them. There's no need for you to actually pay attention to them. All you need to do is stay focused on that breath. Because it is the breath that we're only focusing on. Everything else has no purpose or meaning in this moment. In this moment, we have chosen to find some time for us to actually just be. And in this busy world, we find that hard sometimes. It's complicated for us just to find a moment just to breathe or just to be. And as you notice the body, I just want you to notice if there's any pain or any twitches or tingles or any discomfort that's coming to your attention.
And all I want you to do is just imagine that you're scanning the body with an imaginary laser beam. When you come to that part of the body that is in pain or twitching, I just want you to go past it like you've done with all the other parts of the body. There's no need for you to stop and let your mind pay attention to it. There's no need for you to give it much more attention that's needed. And as you continue to scan the body from the top of the head all the way down to the toes, and then starting all over again, you become accustomed to just passing by whatever is discomfort or whatever is annoying you. The same can be applied with the noises that I mentioned. It could be about the position that you're sitting in. It could be about your tummy grumbling, or maybe your mind wondering about work or what you want to do after this. All of that needs to be let go of so you can focus just on the task at hand. And remembering the task is really quite simple. All you're doing is breathing and scanning the body like fluid, like a gentle dance meandering down the body. Allowing that attention to go over every muscle, every ligament, every tendon in the body, making its way, cascading its way down to the toes. And it creates a rhythm of just you making sure that every part of your body gets attention by that laser beam that's in your mind. That you know that once you get to your destination, which is your feet, you just start all over again and just do that gently, without question or hesitation, doubt or regret. You just continue that fluid-like movement through the body. And as we start to notice the rhythm, it's quite interesting how that rhythm can be taken away and used in the real world. How easy it can be for you to have something happen or get triggered by something, and then all of a sudden you are away from the moment. You are actually now in your head, and you can start to feel anger and frustration, and all those emotions that we know at times aren't necessary. The more we practice to allow our body just to go with that fluid-like movement, the easier it is for us not to attach when we need to outside of this practice. So I'm just going to give you a few minutes just to continue to work through that rhythm. Remembering to do the front and the back, remembering to do every part of the body, every finger, every toe. Everything needs to be touched by that laser. And when you're able to do so, without any hesitation, you'll feel the rhythm just working by itself. So just do so now until I return. As you continue to practice that, just know that everything in your life has a place. That even though there may be dark times, those dark times are there to remind us and to tell us that we understand the light, we understand the good times. Even though sometimes we feel frustrated or overwhelmed, those feelings are there to remind us that we know how to be resilient, calm. And when you think of fluid, you understand that there is the yin and the yang, that everything harmoniously just works into each other. There is no right, there is no wrong, there is no hesitation, there is no proper way. It is just what it is. In life, there are things that we can't control, just like we can't control what happens in our practice. All we need to do is just show up. All we need to do is just sit and be patient. And just allow ourselves just that little moment of surrender. It's difficult enough as it is trying to keep up with everything in our day. But when we give our mind a gift of just being still, it gives us so much more than we can ever imagine. Stillness is something that is very, very rare in our lives, as we are so consumed with distraction, traffic, things that are shining at us to pay attention to them. There seems to be a discrepancy with us just being able just to be, without labelling it lonely or bored or not doing anything productive. Just be mindful that this is your gift to yourself, the most productive thing that you can honour body to continue to do so. I'm going to leave you here until the end of this session to continue to do your practice. Until next time.
Hey guys, welcome back to the back room. Joey, emotional intelligence. Tell me about it. Do most men have it, or do you think some men have it, some people don't have it? Tell me what your impression of that is.
Emotional intelligence, I always think it sounds like AI. Emotional intelligence, I just think that it's just being street smart. Someone that knows how to communicate. It goes back to what we were saying earlier. When you're emotionally intelligent, you know how to communicate with intelligence. You know how to, communication really is I see you and you see me and we talk, right? But, think about what you were saying about your parents, right? They didn't care. They didn't listen. So your parents didn't have emotional intelligence. They weren't able to say, oh, maybe if I stop doing this, my relationship might get better. Instead, they went, oh, you annoy me. So that's how most people deal with it when you don't have emotional intelligence, you project and you blame everyone else.
Do you think it's something that's learned or something that you just have innate sort of
that's a good question. I think that definitely, because it is a buzzword at the moment. So a lot more people are learning how to do it. And really what you're doing is, I like metaphors. It just means, imagine you lived your life, right, with blinkers on, right? All your life, you only saw what was in front of you, but you didn't really see anything that was hovering on the edges. Now, with emotional intelligence, you take that off, right? So really, you get to know. You ask you ask more questions. Think about what we've seen the last, say, 12 months, right? You see something on television, and a lot of people believe it. They're wearing blinkers. They don't really ask questions about, okay, what's really going on? Why did they do that? Instead, they go for the jugular, right? And that's why we've got cancel culture now. As soon as you do something wrong, no one asks questions. They just cancel you. That's so it's so bad. It is when they cancelled. They were going to cancel someone I love, right? And I've never ever done protest before, but I got on my box. And he should be Jimmy Carr. Jimmy Carr, the comedian.
Yes.
So he really should be cancelled, but we need him because he takes a bad situation and he makes us understand that laughing is part of healing, right?
Yep.
And he tells you over and over again, now, come on, guys, you know what this is about? This is about comedy. This is not real. But
Yep.
still, people still take it literal. They still keep their blinkers on. They ignore that information. So I think those people are dumb.
You think using his vehicle of comedy gives a platform to make people look at it in a different set of eyes? Is that what you're saying? Yep.
Well, the last controversy was when he spoke about gypsies and how gypsies weren't recognized when Hitler killed all the Jewish people, because also gypsies were killed, right? And he said it in a joke, but through the joke, he explained that the relevance of the joke is because he's just educated over 30 million people. Because no one talks about the gypsies, right?
Yeah.
But instead of hearing that last bit, everyone heard the joke. And they called him all this stuff. And he's going, did you not understand what I said? Did you not understand? I actually explained it. And still they wouldn't listen. And that's the thing, I think, with nowadays. People are so fixated with their opinion, right? They're so fixated with their opinion, and they could have all the evidence in front of them. Well, you know, the COVID thing, that some people believe that if you drink something or if you take this or if you don't do that, you're not going to get it. But that's not real in a way. That's just blinkers. And they don't want to think about what the other people are saying because the scientists are, they're spies or they're corrupt, right? So, but, really the essence of intelligence is really about love. It's about how you feel about someone, right? So you don't become selfish. You don't become narcissistic. You don't do double standards. You can see what it means for someone else. So if you and I were talking and I wasn't interested in how you felt, that would be that, I'm not emotionally intelligent because I need to think about how you feel. I mean, when you've got to think about you because you're part of the conversation, but some people don't. And a lot of people that are married are like that. And then their children become like that, right? Because they've learned. So they go to school and then they see a dark child and that instantly they have racism. Right? So it's that sort of stuff. So really, how have you asked yourself questions? Like what do you think, what topic do you feel that you've been able to go, you know what, I want to know more about this, and you've learned more about yourself and you've realized, oh, what I'm hearing or what I'm seeing is it actually true? I've now got the proof, or I've got more information. Have you had anything of that?
Well, look, you've got this whole COVID thing going on. You've got, where was it made, the conspiracy theory. I mean, you just touched on that stuff before.
Yeah. I was thinking this. I was thinking about what you said about coming out. I think for you, that would have been, you must have had a belief, right? There must have been an emotional blockage to think that if you came out, something was going to happen. And then something then clicked and you became free.
Coming out meaning that I was going to hell and that, I wasn't.
And you were pretending.
Yeah, I was living a double life, and that was.
So, do you mind talking about that emotion of that? Did it feel like it wasn't intelligent? Did it feel like it didn't make sense? Because you had to pretend, and so your mind must have been so. You weren't able to be the real you, which is where the emotional intelligence comes from. You had to pretend to be something else to fit in. And so, what happened to you?
Society. Something I learned from that, though, maybe this is emotional intelligence as well, is that I got really angry with myself and with gay people because I had, and this is kind of a bit of an aha moment, I guess, with how I look at things differently now. Because I was so straight, I can't be straight. I mean, I just can't be straight.
Can't be gay.
So I can't be gay. Like, damn, the F word would come out of my mouth and bunch of, and.
So did you have internal homophobia?
Yeah, I had internal homophobia because I now look back at that and go, well, what if a gay guy comes on to me, then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to like it. That means I'm gay. So that means, all this homophobia of myself. Yeah. And that was my
did you actually did that happen?
No, it didn't happen.
Did you talk about it with, did you use that F word with guys, your friends? Oh, yeah. So it didn't become, I think that's did you know you were doing it? Did you feel the pressure?
Yeah, it was. 'Cause I wanted to fit in. But then looking back now, and then I see things on TV now that I've come out, obviously, and it's gay bi or whatever pan I am. I don't know.
Babe, you're just butch. I would not let go of that farmer thing if I was you. That's freaking worth more than crypto.
So, so basically, for me now is that when I see men bashing other men because they're gay, is that reminds me of when I was straight,
and that's the emotional intelligence.
That's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because if that happens where I happen to like it, that means I'm gay, and then that's their fault. And that's why I would want to.
So take it a step further. What did you then feel or do with the guys that were gay when they were getting bashed? Did you have empathy?
Yes.
So that's what emotional intelligence is. Yeah. You had to, you were. It's funny. That's a very common story for guys that don't come out till they're older. Looking back, do you think that people didn't know? Do you think that you were getting lots of girls and all that, so you obviously pulled it off. So the emotional intelligence was. I think to do that, you have to sort of dumb yourself down a bit, because your real intelligence is who you really are, right? When now you're really who you are. Now your intelligence came out, but back then you had to say the F word. You had to, I know you enjoyed it, but you had to shag a lot of girls, right? You had to probably look and talk and be a particular way. So you weren't intelligent. You were actually a clone.
I was fitting in.
Yeah.
I was fitting in. I had to fit in because I didn't fit in anywhere else. I just felt that's the only way I needed to fit in.
Yeah.
But now looking back, I can understand. And now when I hear about guys bashing gay guys, I think that this is their own internalized homophobia, because now they're being angry at themselves. They're taking it out on gay men. That's how
I never thought that was a thing until I remember one Christmas my brother said, if I see a faggot, I'm going to grab a hose and shove it down their throat, right? And I'm shaking because I knew, right? But then years later, my brother comes home covered in love bites, and I find out it was a guy that gave it to him. So he was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It was a phase. My brother doesn't do that now. But, it is interesting how rather than saying, oh, you know what, I fancy that. That's why I think it's good. It's a little bit better now because, think about what guys do now. Remember how the gay world used to be that whole groomed, muscly, good-looking guy? Now it's everyone. And, bum talk is so common now.
So anyway, getting back to emotional intelligence.
That is emotional intelligence. For a guy who's straight to go and buy a butt plug and not worry about what other people think and know emotionally that's where our G-spot is. Who cares if it's gay or not? As a man...
So I want to stop for that, because I know straight guys. I know a straight friend of mine that loves that sort of stuff anyway.
So I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying as a man, right, not a gay guy or a straight guy, as a man... If you're emotionally intelligent, you don't care about the label. You just know the feeling. So a lot of guys, though, wouldn't do a lot of things because they would say, oh, that's gay. But
no, let's label that. Can't do that because that means it's gay.
But I understand, but they do it to a girl. It's so weird how people put these things and restrictions in place about what they do or not do. I saw this thing from the Saturday Night Live, right, in America, and it was so funny. It was just these two guys, and they were flatmates, and the guy said, I don't really know how to pick up a girl, and so he was trying to teach him. And the way that it was happening, right, it was really that they were both wanting to have sex together. And it was so hilarious how, just look into her eyes. And when you look into her eyes and you've got her, once you've got her, you go in for the kiss. So he went in and kissed the guy. And all this stuff was happening. Because in reality, it's when you feel something, right, that's why it must be hard for someone who can't come out. Because they can't, those feelings must be so intense. Did you fall in love with your friend? Is that another thing that's a myth, or did that happen? Because that's another thing that I hear a lot of. So you were discovering your sexuality, you were trying to be intelligent about it, you were trying to figure it out, but then you had this guy in your life that was hot. Did you experience that? Come on, you would have. You were going out with good-looking girls.
Maybe. No, there was somebody that I used to I'm not going to say when or where, but there was somebody that I was going to the gym with, and looking back.
I'll just send an email to my detective.
No, just looking back, there was now using my emotional intelligence. Looking back, it was like, hang on a minute, wait, that was because I was obviously a little bit confused about myself at the time.
Yeah. But also you didn't have much access.
No. And
like you do now, And
looking back at some of the things that we used to say and do, and nothing happened, but it was just, that was some signs that I make.
I love that that's your word. That's your word today. Nothing happened. It's code. Nothing happened.
Nothing actually, no.
I know, but I'm just saying that, does that, how do you feel about that now? How do you feel about that's the whole thing? Do you feel comfortable, or do you regret that nothing happened? You look in hindsight, or do you think that molded you?
I kind of did guess. I guess I kind of did regret.
So, but for you, the thing that you did when you were coming out, the whole experience of what what we experienced in different ways, you would have been scared. And that makes sense.
I was incredibly scared. Yeah, I was. And even, I guess, that carries into now where, situations that come up to where I should be using more of my, emotional intelligence, is that, I guess I do get a bit scared. I do get a bit concerned, or,
Like, what, to be judged about that? Sure. Yeah. So, what in your circle of friends, do you think your friends at this age are emotionally intelligent, or do you think that some of them are? Oh, that was
no. Yeah, no, they are. Like, I'm just no. I've got some amazing. Like, all my close friends know all about me, and they're just
But I'm talking about the interaction. Like, you can see that they're mature and they get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes. I think all my friends got emotional intelligence. They all do. They get it. They understand, or they get it. Yeah. They all have it. Or we all have a different lifestyle and different things, and you can talk about anything and everything, and they can understand why or how. Or they're not, like, as you said, you've got people who've got their blinkers on.
Yeah. The word that you used about your sister, I think, epitomizes it. It's when you decide to live a life of drama. When in reality, right, again, if we use COVID, when you really have emotional intelligence, you just say to yourself, it's COVID. But when you don't, it's a drama. Because emotional intelligence is about being able to understand the truth. Like, if I was living in Ukraine, there's going to be people that are scared, and there's going to be the people that now are brave, right? There's a lot of brave people protesting, and they're emotionally intelligent because they realize, those Russian people realize that if they don't do anything, they're also to blame. So rather than just being scared, it's that sort of stuff. And so when you said, can it be learned? Of course, I think it can, as the world changes, because otherwise we'll just be hiding. I am intelligent, and so are you.
Sexual dysfunction, Part 2. How is erectile dysfunction treated? Erection pills. Erection medications such as Viagra and Cialis. Injections. Injection into the penis when an erection is wanted. External devices. Vacuum penile pumps or rubber rings can help with erectile dysfunction. Testosterone replacement therapy, TRT. Only suitable for men whose levels of testosterone are low. Surgical treatments for erectile dysfunction. Penile prosthetic implant, a device that is surgically implanted into the penis. Vascular surgery, targets the veins and arteries that supply blood to the penis. Men with diabetes and erectile dysfunction. Poor control of your diabetes may result in increased damage to the nerves and circulation that control blood flow to your penis. Keeping blood glucose levels in the target range, these problems are less likely to occur. Diet. Eating a balanced diet may help maintain sexual function and decrease your risk of ED. Exercise. Exercise is effective if your ED is caused by obesity, inactivity, or cardiovascular disease, among other conditions. Sleep. Sleeping regularly may also improve your ED. Sex therapy or couples counseling. Counseling with your partner to help them understand the condition and discuss ways to support you. Stress reduction. Mental health issues like stress and anxiety are often linked to ED. Alcohol reduction. Studies have shown mixed results for the effects of alcohol on ED.
Well, Joey, this has just been delicious. It's been a while, or it's been a minute actually, as you would say.
I've learned a lot about you. I have. I think this is the most out you've been.
Out, like, what do you mean? As in like conversations?
No, like, crypto. So, all this stuff that is, it's good. And I want that painting behind you, by the way. Can I put that on the list of your, can that go to me on your will?
That's not actually a painting.
What is it?
You don't know what that is?
It looks like paint. It looks like ink blots. Hold on,
That is
an X-ray.
I don't think I can take the thing. Is
it an X-ray?
No. But it's a one of a kind.
Yes.
Do you know what it is?
Is it a penis? I can see. I don't know what it is. I seriously don't know what it is. Don't take it off. Oh.
Have a really good look at it. Hang on. It's trying to make it so you can see it.
Is that a Van Leeuwen?
No. It's an Aaron Flett.
Yeah. Is it a man?
Yes.
Yes, I can see it now. I love it. I want it.
What is this man doing?
He's sucking something.
This man here is sitting down. He's brought his knees up around to his chest.
Oh, I see it. Yes.
Yeah.
Is it like a photo and then you impose something on top? Have you?
It's a photograph, but it was done in. It's got fairy lights all over me, and it was on low shutter screen.
Yes.
And I had to move about.
So can I please have that?
Sure.
I want a red dot on it. Thank you. I love when people create, do art, have art that's personal. Do you know what I mean? That you were part of. I think that's really, and like if you never told me that story, I would not have known. And so that's the mystery of art. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's all interpretation too. Art's interpretation. What do you see? What do you see in that? That was done. See where it is there behind that wall in the hallway is where I took that picture was taken. There's another one around the corner that's a yellow one.
Of the same thing.
No, it's not the same. It's slightly different.
Yeah. And by the way, have you still got does your ghost still visit?
The one that you saw that I didn't see.
Well, how could you see it? You had your back to him, but I saw him directly coming out of your kitchen.
No, but I had a girlfriend she's into the whole thing, and she felt there was a bit of a sluggish entity down the end room.
He's friendly. He was literally just having a coffee. All right, Aaron, look, it's been so much fun, and I don't think I've laughed this much in ages, so thank you for that laugh.
You're welcome. You're laughing, laughed at.
No, we didn't laugh at you. Actually, I think that you were, you're in control today. I love that. Very Dom.
Very Dom.
All right, this is Joey.
This is Aaron.
And we'll see you next month. Have a great month, everyone, and don't forget cryptocurrency.
Cryptocurrency.
Hey, bye.
Bye.